Start by confirming that today is Saturday, October 3rd, 2003. Oh, it's October 4th, I'm sorry. It's Saturday, October 4th, 2003. What is your full name?
Harry Wallace Pipper.
Who are you named for?
My first name I'm named after my father, middle name is after my mother.
When and where were you born?
December 10th, 1923, Hahnemann Hospital, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
How far back can you trace your family?
Just to my mother and father. I didn't know any of my grandparents. They were deceased.
Do you know any legends or stories of the past which have been told and retold in your family?
No.
What is your mother's and father's full name?
My mother was Hazel Wallace Pipper. Father was Harry Jacob Pipper.
What was your mother's maiden name?
Hazel Wallace.
In what country was she born?
She was born in the United States.
And your father also?
He's a native, yes.
Can you remember hearing stories about your mother and father when they were young?
No, all I know is that my mother was graduated, I don't even know the year, from Geisler Memorial Hospital, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, as a registered nurse. And my dad was in the Navy. I don't know what year he discharged, but he was in for, I guess it was about 8 or 10 years. I'm not sure of that either, like the time.
Do you know the names of your mother's or father's sisters and or brothers?
No.
Do you know any relatives who still live?
I do know one sister, I'm sorry, Gertrude Pipper. That was the only relative in his family that I knew. Everybody else was deceased.
And that was your father's sister.
My father's sister.
Okay. Do you know any relatives of your mother's or father's?
No.
Do you know the names of your grandparents or great-grandparents?
No.
What year were your parents married and where did the wedding take place?
I have no idea. I don't even have a clue.
We'll have to find that out for you.
Who are you going to find that out from?
How did your mother and father earn a living when they were young?
My mother was a registered nurse, and my dad was in the Navy. He was a chief petty officer.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No.
Where did you live when you were growing up?
Thriftton section of Arlington, Virginia.
What are some of the earliest memories you have growing up?
That fire to the, can't remember the name of it. I think I told you about the fire engine losing a wheel and throwed all the firemen off. That was one thing I'll never forget, seeing that. I happened to see the accident.
And how old were you then?
Probably about 10 or 11, somewhere in there.
What was your first job and how much did you earn?
50 cents an hour. I was a bagger at Safeway grocery store.
Where?
It was sanitary grocery at that time, but that was in Clarendon, Virginia.
Where did you attend school?
Washington Lee High School,
Where's that?
Arlington, Virginia.
Do you remember the days of the Great Depression?
No, I can't. I think it started around 1932. But I was only 9 years old then. No, I don't remember.
Were you in the armed forces during World War II?
No. They were reserve, but inactive.
Can you tell me some of your wartime experiences?
Made 7 Atlantic crossings to Europe and North Africa during the war, between 1942 and 1945.
And where did you go?
I went to, ports that I went to I was in Glasgow, Scotland, Bertha-Forth, which is Edinburgh, and London, England, Bath, England, Manchester, Hull, Liverpool, Avonmouth, Bristol, and I think that's all. Oh, Belfast, Ireland.
What do you remember most about those experiences?
Scared to death most of the time.
Really?
Well, in the first part. After 43, it wasn't bad at all. But it was, I don't know how to even describe it. Like I say, the early part of the time that I sailed, it was a lot of action, enemy action. But after 43, that ceased.
What made it dangerous? The crossings? What made it scary?
Well, you see ships torpedoes go down. I was sent from New York to Baltimore with, I guess, 30 or 40 men to crew 3 ships in Newport News. And I went on the William Johnson, and the other 2 ships were the Molly Pitcher and Benjamin Harrison. And these fellows that we all went down together, they crewed those 2 ships. Those 2 ships were torpedoed on the way to Casablanca. So that's firsthand seeing fellow seamen, go down. That's scary.
Yeah, can imagine. What's the name of your wife?
My wife, Winifred, she's deceased.
And her full name?
Winifred. Winifred Bronner. I don't think she had a middle name.
Okay. How did you meet?
In school. She was a couple of years behind me, but we went same school.
Can you describe your decision to marry and the proposal?
I didn't understand.
Can you describe your decision to marry and how you proposed to her?
Yeah, we decided to get married when I came back off a trip from England, and we got married August 21st, 1943.
How old were you when you got married?
I was 19, she was 17.
Where were you married?
Arlington, Virginia.
Can you describe your wedding day?
Yeah, we went over to the minister's house, Cherrydale, Arlington, and I knew him personally, but he was a Baptist minister because my wife was Baptist, and he married us in the rectory of Cherrydale.
Is there anything else about the wedding that you remember?
Well, we went to New York, and from New York we went to Amagansett, Long Island, and stayed there for 3 days, I think.
And that was your honeymoon?
Yeah, because I had to go back to ship.
Where was your first home after you were married?
First home was 1515 North Ross Street, Arlington, Virginia.
What was life like the first years of your marriage?
I don't know much because I wasn't home.
Do you have any children?
4.
What are their names and when were they born?
Uh-oh. Well, Diana Lee, Dale Ann, Marsha Louise, and Paula Wallace. Diana Lee was born January the 9th, 1945, and that's the only one I can give you the date on because I don't know the others.
Where are they living today?
Diana lives in Northumberland County, Virginia. Dale lives in Vienna, Virginia. Marcia lives in Warrenton, Virginia. And Paula lives in Chantilly, Virginia.
What are the names of their spouses and children?
Well, Diana Lee was Wanda and Douglas. Marcia was Allison, Casey, and Christy. Dale was Jeffrey and Matthew. And Paula was Elliot and Carly.
And what are the names of their spouses?
Paula is Stephen, and Marcia is John, and Diana is Robert, and Dale is Jack.
Tell me about vacations that you took together with your family when they were young.
We went to Chickatink one time, and I can't give you the year, I don't remember. I went to Colonial Beach on several occasions, and went to Myrtle Beach on another occasion.
What are the age ranges for your grandkids?
I don't even know the ages of my children, much less their grandchildren.
Okay, we'll move on. Is there anything special you like to do with your kids when you're together?
No, we don't, you know, that's not that, we live too far apart to have activities.
Are you still working or are you retired?
Retired.
Do you have any hobbies or other interests?
Well, just general house, you know, keeping the house in shape, that's about it. I don't fish anymore, don't do anything hardly.
Are there any deaths of loved ones you want to talk about?
Any what?
Any deaths of loved ones you want to talk about?
No.
Is there anything unusual that has occurred in your adult life you wish to talk about?
No, I don't think so.
Can you describe family life during a favorite holiday?
Do what now?
Can you describe your family life during a favorite holiday? What comes to mind?
Christmas? Well, that was always a joyful time because kids were all, you know, excited and everything about getting gifts and giving gifts. That's about the only holiday that I really thought much about. I usually had to work on those, 'cause I worked in a bakery and they baked on the holidays. It took the day off before a holiday, that was your holiday.
Did religion play an important role in your family?
No.
What values did your family instill in you with which you live today?
Well, they lived a good Christian life, and they taught me the same.
Who had the greatest influence upon you while you were young?
I guess my dad, because my mother was an invalid from the time I was born, so he was.
What has helped you get through the tough times?
I'm not through yet. No, I've been fortunate. I've had good health all my working days, and my family has most part have had good health. No serious, real serious illnesses, and that's a blessing, you know. So that's about it.
Compare the lives of children today with when you were young.
Well, I didn't have much when I was young because of the time, the depression, and I'm much better off now than I was then, so I appreciate that. And I think the world today is in pretty bad shape all over, but I don't know what can be done. It seems to be getting worse instead of better.
How do you feel television has influenced our society?
Well, I think it's cut down on production of what most people usually do. Instead of doing things around the house like they should, they're watching television. I know that's my.
What you do, huh? Are there any stories you'd like to tell that I have not asked about?
No, I don't think they'd be appropriate. No, I don't.
If you could give a message about life and love to your children, grandchildren, and the generations to come, what would that be?
Well, try to live a Christian life and treat everybody else like you'd like to be treated. That's about the best I can say.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Well, we didn't have to take the fifth.